Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's been another volatile up and down week, but miraculously for me has ended up flat, considering some of the tokens that I'm in, the altcoins that are sort of getting whacked at the moment. My Bitcoin percentage is still increasing, sort of indicating that I should have been just buying Bitcoin all this time rather than the alts, but yeah, that's something that sort of did well for me in the 2018, 2019 bear market, so I'm doing it again. But yeah, it's been a heavy week for news, so let's have a look. So this was quite the bombshell during the week. BlackRock filing for a full spot Bitcoin ETF. Everyone's sort of seeing this as if they can't do it, then no one can. Whether the SEC is going to sort of reject this. Interestingly, they're using Coinbase as a custodian. They're not going to hold it themselves. I thought they may have wanted to hold it themselves, and they're using BNY Mellon as the sort of bank custodian. So they're not really getting too involved themselves. Just something that they will manage and see if it goes through. Obviously, we've had every single one rejected from ARK and Coin Shares, I think it was, Valkyrie, Grayscale trying to get theirs turned into an ETF, and many others. And yeah, they're seeing if this one can go through. Interestingly, BlackRock's record with ETFs with the SEC is 575 to 1 in terms of approved to rejected. I did have a quick look. I believe that one is basically because they were trying to launch an actively managed ETF that didn't reveal its holdings, or didn't reveal them every day, as I gather you have to, and they did eventually get that one through. So yeah, 575 to 1, sort of in terms of actual filings, you would think is pretty good. They won't want that to be the first official one that is rejected outright. Yeah, you had VanEck as well. So obviously VanEck, one of the biggest sort of ETF providers, and sort of pivotal in, I believe they were sort of quite pivotal in the gold ETFs back in the day, and they got rejected as well. So we mustn't get our hopes up. You've got to sort of expect that this could go along the same sort of delay, and then reject path that all the rest have gone. But yeah, we can hope. And then there's been a lot of lead up to this over the sort of past few years, really, ever since XRP had started their lawsuit, in that you had the 2018 speech by William Hinman, who sort of mentioned last week is being hung out to dry, basically removing his profile from the SEC website, and it does seem that this sort of release of emails basically paints him as a bit of a rogue, and the SEC will presumably say that he doesn't represent the thoughts of the SEC back then or now, despite Jay Clayton, the former chairman of the SEC, sort of pointing to Hinman's speech as sort of proper clarity and rules. But yeah, these sort of emails reveal, it seems like the lawyers of the SEC and sort of various people recommending that he remove things from his speech and sort of change the wording because it wouldn't be how they would want to have the rules, and they were even sort of saying it will make it difficult to backtrack on these rules in the future. So yeah, they're not happy with what was in the speech, and he basically went ahead with it anyway. So yeah, kind of not seeing this as a huge positive. Some people apparently in the XRP case are sort of seeing it as a positive, kind of, that the SEC were all over the place back then, and that could be seen as not giving clarity. But yeah, I would kind of see this as, they're just going to say that he's a rogue and he doesn't represent the views of the SEC. So yeah, see what comes of this. Then you got Binance US. No sooner sort of getting sued, they have already, it seems, struck a deal, and they're avoiding a full freeze of the total company assets, which the SEC were pushing for. But they do have to sort of repatriate all assets and keep them withdrawable, basically, in the US, which should be really anyway. And yeah, they've had to pay a $100 million fine, which is peanuts as long as Binance International are happy to support them, and they've been asked to register as a securities exchange, which could, people are sort of playing down and brushing off, but that could be a reasonable issue. If they just say, no, you can't register, then Binance US is presumably going to struggle. So yeah, they could end up with just Binance International anyway. But yeah, it's have to see what happens with their registration, I guess. Lastly, an interesting development in the European crypto regulations. The Markets in Crypto Assets bill that was passed, sort of seen as a huge success, getting everyone in the European Union to, or majority, agree on this and push it through. And, already getting a motion sort of being put through to make some sort of quite heavy changes to it. So it was noted that some crucial elements were not in the Markets in Crypto Assets regulation, and it was always going to be added to. But the European Parliament Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs have issued a report containing recommendations to add to it, basically. And the sort of people that have been reviewing this are saying that it basically pushes them more towards exactly what the SEC are doing, sort of regulation by enforcement, and that they'll sort of basically look at every project individually and decide sort of whether they're allowed to continue or not, as opposed to sort of making rules that that everyone can follow in advance. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean this will go through. There are sort of not a think tank, but a section of the European Union that doesn't necessarily make the rules, but they're sort of recommending this to the EU, and we'll have to sort of see whether it goes through. Sounds like they're presumably against crypto in general, similar to the SEC, and they want to try and sort of push this addendum to the MiCA rules and crack down, similar to the SEC, but we'll have to see. And then just a quick look at the coins for the week. As I say, Bitcoin has been holding up a lot better than the others. It's actually positive 1% for the week. Ethereum minus 3.5%, sort of off the back of the Hinman emails and sort of all sorts of bits and pieces. Still haven't made I was still considering swapping my 0.6 Bitcoin sort of left over here into Ethereum. I haven't sort of made that move yet, but considering it, if ETH isn't going to sort of be particularly harmed out of all of this. Solana down 1%, which is surprisingly good. Cardano down 0.6%. It does seem like the damage is potentially done for now. And Chainlink 0.6% down again. XRP 6% down, so that's the worst performer of the week, but has been doing really well. Obviously, not really dropped with all of the other tokens. Audius 3.5% up, although they did have quite a rough week or two. Quant 3% down. Polygon 0.6% up. Gala 8.7% up, so that's the best for the week, but again, they had a rough few weeks. Power Ledger down 1.7, Basic Attention Token up 0.3, Internet Computer 6% up, but they've been really rough. V-Chain down nearly 5%, and they really are having a rough time of it. Haven't sort of bounced at all. Good job I didn't sort of put too much more into them. It was a bit of a speculative punt. But yeah, as I say, overall flat for the week with some sort of reasonable variance in them, which is always good, I guess. You don't want them all to move as one. So, yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments below, what you're finding interesting at the moment, if you're buying anything, and like and subscribe. See you soon.